Okay, so this is Naz's 10-minute eval for game 1 of EMPG v Decimate GG. This game I played Freya, and we're trying a bit of an interesting start to see if we can get pressure in their jungle. We're just going to quickly go over the first 10 minutes, see what I did wrong, see where mistakes were made. Let's go. I'll speed this up a little bit here. So I'm starting in mid because the idea is the solo laner starts duo. Possibility of a first blood there. We don't get it this time. But what happens is I start mid, Mars does speed on his own, the solo laner meets me at red, and duo lane gets purple. And then hopefully Almighty, our solo laner, can get to the blue before it disappears. What we did think after this is that when we have this much pressure with Freya, he really isn't needed. So he probably could have backed and got blue for himself. I think poking Discordia was okay there. I probably shouldn't have used my 1 because I had no kill potential and it slowed down my clear here. So we see Bakasura, we're not too worried. We go to lane to make sure that we keep pressure, and I think we end up getting first blood here. I used my 1 on the wave after Mars said we were going in, which wasn't great, but he gets a good route, and before I run out of mana we get first blood, so it wasn't too bad. Bakasura's missing here. They go over for a gank in duo. That works. We've got about a 1200 gold lead in 2 minutes, so that's kind of huge. Here I have no mana, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I'm just getting mana off these, which is fine. Maybe I should have gone to the left camp as Mars is going to speed, so essentially I just took farm away from him. But I think we're going to look to go to... Oh no, we're coming over here because duo were in trouble. I missed a few too many autos there, but I get a good whoop. We get Xbalanque beads and no one says it in chat. So we should have done that. I go boots first because it's Bakasura and Erlang. I don't want to get caught. It's been a fairly solid first 3 minutes, to be honest. I'm just going to speed it up a little bit more. Seeing what builds there are. Discordia had no boots and I didn't call it. We're both 5 here, so we should be looking for their red. But we don't have wards up yet, so we don't know where they are. Mars calls for poke here. No, he doesn't. That's later on. That's just a good pick. I don't really know what this Bakasura was doing. He didn't belong in this game, to be honest. So there's loads of buffs up on the right side of the jungle, which I should start clearing now. This was stupid. So here, so it's 5 minutes in the game. We've got a 2,000 gold lead, and this is one of the throws we make. I get too greedy here. I think I'm bigger than I am. I'm still Freya with 1 item. And I didn't call I was going to do this, so Almighty didn't have a chance to rotate. If we look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 camps up, a mid wave in mids. Obviously, that's where mid waves are. This was stupid. Like, I could have got 500 gold here. Instead, I go to try and slow down the backer, who's already level 4 at 5 minutes. Mars is about to hit 6. We know this guy is not very good anyway, so invading speed on my own is just stupid. And this happens, so I miss one auto. If Erlang doesn't turn up, I probably kill him and I get the buff, but then I'll die to Discordia, so it probably still isn't worth it. Because Discordia ended up carrying the game. Discordia and Hoyi anyway. Discordia and Xbalanque. So it was kind of shit. Like, if we see there's still a camp up here, a camp up here, a camp up here, and red's coming up. I'll be there for red, but you know, if I did those camps, I might have another item. I might have tier 1 of the pen, so I go in with more power, kind of thing. We get red anyway, which is fine. But that was just a big misplay. And it was kind of the beginning of the end. Unfortunately, because that keeps happening. But if I just slow it down a bit here, I'm not sure what happens. So Mars calls for poke as they walk into lane. We suck because we forget that it's a Discordia. Here I get good poke off on the Bakasura, beats the horrific, which I think is fine. I don't want to risk getting poked out and losing more farm. So at this point, with the pressure we had in mid, I should be 2 or 3 levels above the Discordia, and I'm not. Camps are coming up on the right. It's called that there's a rotation, and then we don't know where Bakasura is. I'm out of mana, so I can't do anything. And that is called, but we are looking for something here. I'm just looking for a camp where I can get some mana here. Jumps the taunt, which is fine. Once again, we group up for Discordia. Mars wants to invade, so I'm just getting some mana before that, which was fine. Do some damage, miss an auto, but Mars gets it. Get speed again. The call here is to go on to, is to group up for red. Walrus gets a bit aggressive. And because of that we lose pressure, and I don't think we're able to get the red. Because we don't have Geo lane pressure, so we don't know where Xbalanque is. So we're 8 minutes in, we're 2,000 gold up. It's not bad, but it could have been much better. Overall, it was a pretty solid. Missed that whoop. Could have made something happen if I hit it, but it's okay. Still get some poke out. Call the poke. This is just me trying to abuse the lead we had. Once again, I maybe use that ult too offensively. I don't respect the Erlang. He's actually a higher level than their jungler there. Get picked, and now mid is essentially even. Because I've died twice and I wasn't able to snowball my lead. I wasn't able to snowball the first blood on a Freya, which is really bad. The ward top left didn't catch the Erlang rotation, which kind of sucks, but I also don't have wards up on the map. So we tried for another speed buff, that's fine. Erlang steals it as he actually uses his escape to get away, which kind of sucks. It was a good call to dive the tower here. It's well played by Nana and Mars and Almighty. And there's 10 minutes. I'm just going to wait to see what happens next quickly. But we get red. So after, if we look just at the first 10 minutes, we're almost 28 against 26. So we're 2,000 gold up. It's not great because we had first blood plus double their kills. We've had their speed buff 3 times, or the red buff 3 times, sorry, the speed buff 2 or 3 times. We should be much higher. At the moment there's a 2-level gap on the jungler. I'm even with the mid because of misplays. This game, we were discussing after the match, we think this was essentially a win that we threw, which is better than obviously losing outright, but it's just a bit of a shame we weren't able to push the lead, and we see in some of the later games against Decimate, we actually did 5 games, we see in some of the later games that we are able to convert that quite well. So this is game 1. I'm going to head over to game 2 now.